Candace Parker was one of the most anticipated women's basketball prospects ever. Her stardom took hold nationally in high school, and all she did from there was shatter barriers for the next 20-plus years. That journey kicked into overdrive on Rocky Top, where her versatility was the most dazzling ingredient on the way to back-to-back national championships. This episode of What an Award Spotlight is presented by Principal. When it comes to breaking records and being the first, few have done it like Candace Parker. The first to dunk in an NCAA tournament game, first and only to win WNBA Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season, and the first to win championships with 3 different franchises, just to name a few. But those accolades are not what define nor drive her. For Parker's entire life, she felt pressured to fit into a specific box, one rigid mold for all women athletes. She did everything she could to break out of that. Like when she dunked as a 15-year-old in high school. It's thought to be the second in-game dunk by a high school woman about a year after Sylvia Fowles did it, but she just wanted to do it earlier than her brothers.
Parker on the run. We're gonna get a dunk here. Yes! She did it!
We raised Candace just like we did the boys. We exposed her to all the different activities, encouraged her.
She became the first woman to win the McDonald's All-American Dunk Contest in 2004, knocking off future NBA notables like J.R. Smith, Rudy Gay, and Josh Smith. You've got to remember that at this point in history, only one woman, Lisa Leslie, had ever dunked in the WNBA. And Parker made her own history, while still recovering from ACL surgery. At the same time, she was adamant about not just being the girl who can dunk. After all, her game wasn't that easy to fit in a box.
There's a 6'3" Parker going high to steal that pass, and now leading the break. Candace Parker. You are not going to see that often in high school basketball, one of the nation's elite players.
Her high basketball IQ and adaptable style of play made her the first and only player to win the USA Today and Gatorade Women's High School Basketball Player of the Year awards twice. She led her team to state championships as a junior and senior, becoming the first 3-time Ms. Basketball of Illinois winner along the way.
My impression early on in her career is she'd been, given a lot of attention growing up in the spotlight. She was on the cover of every magazine that mattered about basketball. She was the first woman to ever make a big scene about where she was going to college.
Attending the University of Tennessee.
I don't think we've ever seen someone that hyped at that time.
Her commitment to Tennessee was aired live on ESPN, the first televised college announcement for a woman. As a consensus top recruit, her game drew comparisons to LeBron James. At 6'3", Parker was the best guard, forward, and center in the country, and Tennessee listed her as all 3. Teaming up with a top-ranked recruiting class and a legendary coach in the late Pat Summitt, the expectation for Parker was to make an immediate national championship run, like the Lady Vols typically did. But there was a hole in that plan, literally.
I had a hole in my knee. I had just come off of ACL. I had just done the rehab. I came to Tennessee with all of this hype. And so I think that's worse than not living up to the hype, not even being able to go out there and prove yourself.
Those knee troubles led to what was called the Great Wait as she was forced to redshirt. Even though she couldn't suit up, Parker still had plenty of time to bond with Coach Summitt, whose impact as a second mom still touches every aspect of her life today.
She's Mama Pat.
Comfortable in Knoxville and finally healthy, Parker returned to a team that was good enough to reach the Final Four in 2005 without her. She added a new dimension and won SEC Rookie of the Year. She saw the floor like a point guard and eventually became known as one of the best facilitating forwards the game has ever seen. She feasted in the post, then could step out and hit a 3 on occasion. She scavenged for boards and protected the rim at all costs, averaging 2.5 blocks per game in her college career. But in the Elite 8, all the magic ran out, as Parker dealt with foul trouble and turned the ball over 8 times, something she'd never done before and would never do again at Tennessee.
This one belonged to Carolina Blue. I have a feeling, though, that number 3 in orange will be back in the Final Four pretty soon.
In 06-07, the revenge tour was on, along with the rewriting of the Tennessee record books. No one in the decorated history of Lady Vols hoops reached 1,000 career points faster. She became a double-double machine with 21 in 36 games. 9 years after winning its last title and after 3 runner-up finishes in the early 2000s, Tennessee cut down the nets once again.
Tennessee wins a national championship.
Parker was an All-American, Final Four Most Outstanding Player, and Wooden Award winner as the nation's best player. So what did she do for an encore? How about running all of that back again? Champ, All-American, Most Outstanding Player, and Wooden winner in 2008. And this year was even more impressive. She dislocated her shoulder during the Elite Eight right after a stretch where she had scored Tennessee's last 16 points. No big deal. She came back with a brace, led the Lady Vols to a comeback win, and then gutted out 2 more games to hoist another trophy.
Tennessee legend Candace Parker.
The very next day, she was drafted first overall into the WNBA after playing just 3 seasons in college. Her days spent in Summitt blue and orange turned out to be pretty golden. Parker's efforts on the court didn't just solidify her legacy. They helped Pat Summitt burnish an already unbelievable resume, getting Tennessee back over the championship hump to win the program's 7th and 8th titles. They influenced the next generation of hoopers. If Candace Parker never picked up a basketball after college, she still would have been a Hall of Famer. But that's the thing, she kept on playing, soaring season ticket sales for the LA Sparks, 34 points in her first game, which is still a debut record, and she approached a triple-double in that one too. The best-selling jersey of any WNBA rookie to that point, and momentum that extended to the rest of the league, with record web traffic, sellouts, and viewership growth. Later that year, she won an Olympic gold medal with Team USA in Beijing. During the offseason, she gave birth to her daughter Layla and was playing in games within 8 weeks. This 12-month period alone blew up any idea that women can only be one thing. She was as positionless a player as the sport has seen, posting seasons where she led the W in rebounding, blocks, and assists during her career. She became the first women's basketball player to have a signature shoe with Adidas, and now serves as the company's president of women's basketball. In 2024, she signed Kalina Smith as the first high school woman with an Adidas deal. Balancing motherhood, a 16-year WNBA career, magazine shoots, social justice advocacy, an analyst role, an NWSL ownership stake, a bid to bring a WNBA team to Tennessee, and more, Candace Parker is the blueprint for accomplishing things on your own terms.
I've always watched Candace Parker. She's an amazing player, amazing mom, amazing person, and she's always been super inspiring to me.
What she's done on this court and off the court has been amazing for our league, and really appreciate everything that she's done to kind of help me get to where I am.
She is the reason that so many people, 1, played the game, 2, went to Tennessee. I wore this shirt, you mentioned it, because it just says legacy, and that is Candace Parker in a nutshell.
Whether you call her Shebron, Ace, or simply CP3, Candace was just being Candace. She brought eyes and attention to women's basketball that helped build the foundation for its current success. She walked the walk then, so that your favorite player can run now.
That's what I dream of, to have people do it better than me after me. That's the goal, is for the game to continue to grow and to go forward.
This episode of Wooden Award Spotlight is presented by Principal, proud sponsor of the 2025 John R. Wooden Player of the Year.